can see a man like really step outside of his ego, like acknowledging this is ego and I'm gonna put it to the side. Like I feel like that's just a whole different level
Very
of
attractive.
maturity, and
Yeah, very
that's a
attractive.
complete green flag for me because
Yeah.
a lot of men like their ego or their pride driven, right? So it's like so many of those things cloud what they're capable of being or the type of treatment they're able to give a woman, or even just the outside judgment that they perceive from other people that prevents them from doing things that may make their lady happy because it's simpish, right? When I can remove all of that and I can be who I need to be because that's what makes you the happiest, like biggest green flag.
I want to start off with the ladies, of course. I mean, I think they well equipped to answer this question, and then men feel free to chime in on the back end and give our thoughts. Ray, I seen you came off the mic first. You seen the video. We often talk about men's ego. What are your thoughts about it when a man can put his ego aside when dealing with your relationship?
I think it's absolutely sexy for a man to put his ego to side. I feel like I feel like with Black men, it's kind of touchy, like because during slavery they were stripped of their masculinity, and post-slavery segregation, it was kind of hard for them to be as masculine as they wanted to be because they had so much against them in the system. So I feel like for a Black man to be able to set his ego to the side, set his pride to the side and say, baby, I want to please you. I want to make you happy. I love you. I care about you. I think that is one of the sexiest things that a man can do, period, because it's very, very difficult.
Okay. One of the ladies was want to go next. Make sure we mute in between, family.
Can I go?
Yeah, you can go. Go ahead.
Okay. So I feel like we need to just eradicate all the words. Like everybody needs to just find new words for everything because everybody's using all the words wrong. Because ego is basically the definition says a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. I think a man's ego should be at the forefront of his personality. I think a man with ego is sexy because he's self-confident. You know, I don't think there's anything negative about an ego-driven man. I think it's been used negatively for like asshole men, or maybe like, I'm sorry, can I cuss? Like
Yeah,
rude men.
to a minimum,
Okay. Like rude men, you know. But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with a man having ego. I don't think it should come in between him showing his feelings for his woman. I don't see how his sense of self-esteem could hurt his relationship. So that's my opinion.
Okay. Ms. Court, what are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, so absolutely. I do love a man that has a good ego, but I don't like a man that abuses it in a way. Like, I know that, you know, you are self-aware and you want to be relevant, but don't abuse it to where you're taking advantage of women and, like, you know, throwing your weight around. So there is a fine line between, you know, acknowledging self-awareness and abusing it. And I do appreciate a man that is self-aware, but don't abuse, you know, your power in a way. So, yeah.
I'm gonna have to disagree with the ladies a little bit, because I was just what came to my brain immediately was like the 7 deadly sins, and we all know one of them is pride. And ego and pride are synonymous. So a lot of times I think a lot of men are in jail right now because they couldn't control their egos. A lot of men are dead right now because they couldn't control their egos. And, you know, after somebody stepped on their Jordans, somebody disrespected them and bumped them somewhere. Like it's so many things that I think if a man cannot control that ego, it gets him in trouble. And that's women too. Don't get me wrong, women too. So it's like alarming. You guys know my name is Balance, so I like to bring balance to everything. Yes, you need a certain amount of. You know what, JR? I'm not even mad at that one. You need a certain amount of ego to make it into this world. You have to have self-confidence to believe in yourself. Absolutely. But a lot of men take it too far. They take it too far and they get in trouble because of it. Their consequences come very quickly, and they come harder for men than women. Like women, we get bailed out. You know what I mean? We got family, we got friends. You know, society loves us to make a fool out of ourselves and then help us later. You know what I mean? Especially when we're in our ego. That's why so many women are very egotistical. But when it comes to men, that ego gets them locked up, killed, all types of crazy stuff. And it's sad. So I wish men had the balance of learning how to control your ego, but yet use it when necessary. So know when to use the ego is probably how I would say that. Okay, I'm done.
Yes.
All right.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That is a fine line between pride and ego, for sure.
All right, go ahead and chime in, Eva. What are your thoughts about it? I know she took the words.
No, I just said, yeah, she took the words out of my mouth. I was going to give everybody the floor just to speak, but thank you, Balancing, for being up here. Sharing your perspective. You and I have like similarities in thought, so I do appreciate that. You took the words right out of my mouth, girlfriend. I think that men ride a fine line between pride and ego, and I think it's okay to have a perfect balance of both. When it comes down to it, you have to be able to have self-control. If you don't, then it leads the path to destruction for sure. But to just say that a man's supposed to have, there's nothing wrong with a man having an ego. Yeah, so we're not going to go back to the definitives of it all, but it is a balance. It is a boundary to having too much ego. And so what they're saying is, and I think that I would rather reference the term, like you were saying, Cameron, we have to be careful with the descriptions of things that by defining things. So I would have, appreciated if she said pride instead of the ego with that. So I agree with you on that.
All right, gentlemen, the women have spoken on the panel. They gave their thoughts. You guys have any insight that you would like to add additional to this conversation? Once?
I'll add something.
Why y'all so quiet today? Like, what did
I was just trying to give everybody a chance to say something.
I'm full of crap, man. But okay, go ahead.
You want to go first, Ing, or you want me to go?
Go ahead, man. I really got
all right. So the way I see it is men putting their ego and pride to side is one of the reasons why women are out here running around lost. Men are bending for these women when they prove time and time again they out of order. And y'all keep saying that the ego is the reason why men are locked up. Now, you can't just look at it like that. Nobody said anything about a man having ego whenever they accepted the benefits of the Great Society Act, when the government told you to put the man out of the house, and then he goes out in the streets and he get into trouble and then he goes to jail. Nobody said nothing about ego then. So you got to really look at it from a different point of view whenever you talk about men getting locked up. It's not all about just some ego. So I'm gonna let another brother chime in if you want to before I go on a rant.
Yeah, I think a lot of the ladies brought up a lot of interesting point. And I kind of echo some of the sentiment, but I think that Bruiser was kind of spot on right there. I think a lot of men have bent over backwards and out of shape. You know what I'm saying? You can never break a man. He may bend, but he will never break. And I think a lot of men have bent so far back that us trying to put our ego or pride to the side has created a huge downfall in the disarray of order in most relationships. I think there is a level to be said to be stoic, to be able to withstand certain hardships that come your way, because life has always shown that man has persevered in good times and bad times, right? You know what I'm saying? Bad times don't last, but tough people do, right? And sort of one of the things that I kind of get out of this whole, being able to put your ego to the side is that it's essentially just the red cape coming out. Just let the woman do what she wants to do. Have leniency for certain things, not exercise a healthy boundary, right? There are boundaries in relationships. There are boundaries in friendships. There are boundaries in society that we don't cross. We might come close to that line, but we don't cross them because we understand ultimately there is something to be gained at the other side. And I think that the way that it was phrased in that video, I think it's just more of being a matador or a walk-off mat where we just let them to do it once, but what has that really yielded us in the end result? I mean, just look at how we communicate with one another, how we talk about one another, right? And sort of social media is just a byproduct of what we see that most people in society walking around are just thinking in their heads. So is it not so much about ego? I think it's about that boundary and setting it and being able not to bend over outside of your masculine frame.
Man, it seems like everything about it, man, y'all just want to remove that. Y'all don't want none of that to be in an equation at all. So y'all don't want no husband, y'all want a wife, ladies. Y'all don't want a boyfriend, y'all want a girlfriend. That's what you want. So why don't y'all just get y'all an hermaphrodite and enjoy yourselves with them? Because that's all you want. That's what you want us to be. It seems like y'all dislike everything about him, man. The way he acts, his delivery, the way he moves, the way his pride, his ego, everything. Y'all want to whitewash it, water it down. I just don't understand, man. I just don't understand. And it seems like only our sisters are like this. That's what it seems like. The only people that look like us are like this. So
because a woman said, put your pride to the side.
Hold on, Eva.
Stop Thursday. You passport bros, I understand. You guys who decided to want to diverse from black women, I understand now. Then look, I'm not going to do it. I haven't done it. I have a beautiful black woman I'm in love with. I deal with, and I plan on marrying. Thank God I'm out the game, man. I feel sorry for my son and any other sons that got to deal with some of these speaking points and how these ladies are talking, man.
Listen,
I seen Ray, Bruiser, Ray, and Balance. I know you guys were trying to chime in, so I want to go first.
So what only thing I wanted to say is, first of all, I've married a beautiful black woman. I'm not all out on black women. I appreciate some of the ladies on this channel actually remind us, man, that there are some black women out there. There's still some good black women out there. So I appreciate the sisters on the panel still pushing that and promoting healthiness. But fellas, when women want you to put your pride and ego aside, usually means she wants you to accept her after she's been ran through, or her shelf value is around 50%, and she wants you to pay for a price. That's typically when she wants you to bend and put your ego and pride aside. Just to keep it short.
All right, go ahead, Rhea. And Eve, I see you. Let's go to Rhea, Balance, and Eve, and get Ricky in there.
Okay, so I wanted to say to Hink, you said, you don't want a husband, you want a wife. Well, me, I'm polyamorous, so I want a husband and a wife. I want both. But I think when we're speaking about ego, we're not speaking about a sense of healthy self-esteem. We're talking about someone who is egomaniacal. I think that's a better word. That's someone who's overly concerned with their own desires. And like for me, you cannot be egomaniacal to be with me because, like I said, I am polyamorous. So there's going to be times when you as a man, you're going to have to see me out with my girlfriend. You're going to have to see me showing love and affection to someone else. And that's just how it is. But I think like with the word ego, we're using it incorrectly, as Cam said earlier, because ego is just a healthy sense of self-esteem. That's not really what we're talking about here.
Go ahead, Balance.
That was so interesting. I did not expect that at all. But it's so good to see you, Ricky. I can't wait to hear your take on this. So I wanted to say, dang, she almost made me lose the point. I'm sorry. Oh, man.
Hello, motherfucker.
It just threw me a little bit. All right, dang. Yeah, I might have to come back to me.
It's okay.
Yeah, come back to
Okay,
me.
I'll come back to you. We go to Eve. Welcome to the show, Ricky. Welcome to Ricky. All right, go ahead, Eve.
I wanted to respond to Hank, and I didn't know because he was going left with the topic at hand as it related to egos, pride, and all these things. I think you kind of took a left field with that. You kind of showed a lot of compassion, if you will. But I also, this is going to go off topic just for a little bit. How do we feel about pick me women? How do we feel about that?
See, these are YouTube terms because according to YouTube,
no. Just see. I'm just curious about how women up here feel about pick me's.
What's a pick me? What's a pick me? You would have to give an example of a pick me because I think people would call me a pick me. So what's your example?
Yeah, it's just like it defies everything that, like, we're just having a conversation, right, about some simple things, and then a woman would go this way to it because they think they will appease a man.
See,
man, you should have said, you accused me of taking a conversation left. But what are you doing with this statement you just made?
That's a good point, Hank, because
God damn, man.
Because I think even to talk about like a pick me, a lot of times us women that come on these
she just left.
Nah, she frozen. So
okay.
I thought she would go hit she might have went to hit that bottle. My bad.
A lot of times when we do come on these panels and we say things that are in agreement with men at all or praising men in any way, now we're just trying to appease men.
Sir, now if I began to, I'm sorry, because I don't want to derail the show, but Hank, whatever your name is, sir, with the gap tooth in your mouth, you keep on making these sideways comments, but he keeps making these sideways comments and we're not checking him on it, okay? You need to be mindful of what you say to people, sir, because I will burn you to a crisp. You understand me? I'm really up here trying to be civil and have a, dialogue with some mature people, but you, as old as you are, 50 plus, I'm sure, keep on having things to say. Sir, be a mature, older senior citizen, sit up here, have input, and make sure that it has some relevancy. Okay? But you're not going to keep on sitting up here talking.
I got you, man. I got you, man.
You're not going to keep talking to me like that old man river. Shut up.
Hold on.
Don't keep on referencing me about nothing, honey. Because my life,
Eve. This is not.
I'll walk around your whole little life.
Eve, we're having a good dialogue. I think you're doing good. Don't go left. Hank.
I got you.
To answer Eve's question, a lot of times we're in agreement with men. We support men. We love men. We praise men. I'm not trying to appease a man by saying this. This is my actual thoughts and beliefs. And a lot of women who may be against men and look at it as a gender war, then if a woman is saying something praising a man, then it's like, oh, you're just trying to appease a man. No, these are our honest thoughts about men. Maybe it's just different than your thoughts about men. But it's not that I don't say anything to appease a man. When I speak, it's my pure truth. So a lot of people will consider that a pick me because I don't hate men. I love men. So, I mean, maybe that's just how you view it.
No, and I wasn't even referencing you. I'm just in general. I was speaking in general.
I was answering in general.
Go ahead.
As a woman who's called
Hold on, y'all. We gotta get Ricky in there too.
Yes, Ricky.
Okay.
What's good, everybody? Happy Sunday. I pray everything is good with y'all. What's good?
What's going on, Ricky?
Everything's everything, man. As far as the ego, man, ego is necessary for me. It's necessary and needed, right? Because a man needs to have a certain confidence in himself to move mountains, to get things done. Now, I understand our Black women don't see us as such, but that's what's needed, right? Now, when y'all talk about an unhealthy ego, I'll tell y'all within a relationship with your woman, there is no ego, meaning you don't allow pride and stupid stuff to get in the way of listening to your woman when she's talking to you about something, right? Your woman, not no side chick, not no potential, your woman, the woman you dedicated yourself to, the woman you choose to spend the rest of your life with, right? You have to have an open door to communicate, for her to communicate with you, to understand. And sometimes the same way with females, men allow to let their ego get in the way of a discussion, right? And when your ego's in the way, it's going to destroy your capability. Sorry, guys, it's going to destroy your capability to be able to understand what's going on. That's where ego plays no part in a relationship. right? My girl should be able to talk to me about anything, and I should be able to give her an honest answer with no colored lenses, right? That's when ego becomes a problem. When you think you better than me, so you don't have to listen, right? Ego plays no part in somebody you with. Now, again, if you in a relationship with a person that you even got to question this stuff, you shouldn't be there in the first place. You shouldn't be there in the first place, but that's a different conversation. As far as the pick me question, y'all women, I thought y'all like men. Don't y'all want to get picked by men? Right? Why are you asking the ladies how they feel about pick me's, right? They ain't trying to get picked by no chick unless that's your thing.
Because it comes off as a sign of desperation and not just being confident in self. That's why I asked that question.
It comes off to
not relative. I didn't relate that
Eve,
to anybody on the
You gotta
panel.
let him finish, Eve. You gotta let him finish because Ricky has long pauses, so just he'll let you know when he finished. Go ahead,
Right.
brother.
So the thing is that men are pick me's. We go out in the world and we chase our purpose and we get the bag. So when we find a woman that we want, that they choose us, that we choose each other. So I think being a pick me is a redundant, stupid conversation. If it's somebody you want to be with, you want them to pick you. That means you got to have certain qualities, move a certain way, act a certain way, think a certain way for that person to pick you. So it's a dumb conversation. Everybody should be wanting to get picked by the person they choose.
I think to answer Eve's question, well, first to Hank's point about like women wanting to demasculate men, emasculate men, I definitely believe that that's the trend. That's what we've been brought up and taught up, and that women that, you know, have points like mine or balancing or, you know, golden, anybody that feels like, you know, yes, I want to be picked by a man. Yes, I feel like there are traditional roles that we should both be doing, that it's wrong or that I'm desperate. And it's like, I'm confident enough to believe that I'm a pick me, you know? And I feel like women that can't be picked are the ones that are more upset at pick me's more so than women that portray or are called pick me's. And then, yeah, that's just.
What's wrong with being desperate when you pretty much look like shit or your value is depleted? You're getting old, saggy. Nobody wants you. I don't see nothing wrong with being desperate. Should be a damn pick me.
Well, we don't want her to be desperate where she's starting her OnlyFans and putting bikini photos on Instagram. Like, we want her to still have value.
That ain't how you get picked.
So we don't, huh?
Is that how you get picked? Starting OnlyFans?
Well, some women devalue themselves, you know, and be desperate enough to do things like that where their integrity is at, you know, at stake. But
so what
for
do you do as a
myself,
woman
like
when you desperate as a woman and you really, really want a man to pick you? What avenue of approach do you take?
Me personally, my integrity is everything. So you would never see me on IG or anywhere showing my body, exposing any of that, because that's for my husband, you know. But you have
why
women out here
associate OnlyFans and Instagram and all this stuff with being picked?
desperate.
Nah, they're not
Getting
desperate
the
for a man to
BBLs,
pick them. They
you
want
want
clout.
the attention. You're going to get the liposurgery, you know, all of that. That I feel like is a pick me. But women like balancing and Camp, like, I don't see us with our views being self-aware and acknowledging the man roles and, you know, loving that and respecting that. I don't think that we should be viewed as, or not saying that you, Eve, were saying that we are, but I don't think that we should be viewed as pick me's. We just really respect and acknowledge the male role. But desperate women, like I gave examples of getting the BBLs and the liposurgery, I feel like those are the pick me's and those are the problems in our community.